There, so I've been wondering what would be the best way to share with you all about this inboard electric motor that I have on this very vessel that took me and my cat safely all the way from New York down here to the Exuma Islands in the Bahamas, this very rolly anchorage. And I figured that'd be no better way but to just start talking about it, getting started. I guess I'm exaggerating my moves a little bit here. So I'm gonna share the specs of my setup here along with some shots of the day of the installation. Then you'll come with us to the day when we tested it out of Weeks Yacht Yard in the Great South Bay of New York with Mark Hawkshurst, I hope I'm not butchering his name, and Matt Foley of Electric Yacths and Sunlight Conversions. 100% recommend working with those guys, and the links to how to get in touch with them here in the descriptions. The electric propulsion system we decided to go with is a Quiet Torque 10.0, which sort of compares to a 25 horsepower diesel engine. And I say sort of because it is pure torque, therefore a lot more powerful. I have rarely had to use half of its power. After evicting the diesel engine minus that stubborn little soot bucket, I can't tell you how difficult it was to completely degrease and fully clean the area, and it wasn't until I painted with Rust-Oleum that the smell was finally gone. Then measuring everything to make sure that the electric motor would fit, advised us to replace the shaft, which we did, but at that point the boat was still on the water, that's why you see the shaft there. Then measuring for what the two batteries side by side would look like. Time to deal with that seized bolt for the soot bucket too. Slap some paint, reset the clock there, and visualize where to begin layering these 3-inch wide strips of marine plywood for the forward and aft walls of the battery platform. On the preliminary design, it looks like blocks on top of each other to build the wall, but I ended up building it out of thin strips with fiberglass and lots of epoxy resin in between. That through hole used to be for the saltwater intake to cool down the diesel engine. Since my electric motor doesn't need anything to cool it down with, I will be installing a raw water pump for my dishes one of these days. I'm so excited. There you have the 2 Dakota Lithium batteries, the free charger that came with each one, the motor, the cover for it, motor display, throttle, and connecting wires. Now, I don't know if my GoPro is possessed or something, but it seems to have a mind of its own. And on that day, it shut itself off, not even a minute after it began recording, so I only have these bits I shot with my phone and slowed it down to tell you what the things are. A glimpse of my old disconnected and sort of scrambled 12-volt wires, also the diesel starter panel that I hadn't pulled out yet. There you can see the battery platform with one of the batteries already on top of it. To the right, that platform is where the fuel tank used to sit. And further to the right is where Matt was installing the bus bar. This is the Victron Lynx distribution system, which is where you get your batteries and DC connections together, distributed properly fused, and are able to monitor these connections through your phone via Bluetooth with another thing that you connect to it. And the thing in this case is the BMV712 Smart Bluetooth inside. Second best to having your battery's own monitoring system that you can connect to via Bluetooth is something like this, so you have a pretty accurate reading of how much juice you got left. And so far, knocks on wood, I have yet to run out of battery. That's what the battery monitor looks like on my phone app. Later, I installed solar, an inverter, and other stuff, definitely for another video, but this is what the solar and inverter and all looks like on my phone. To keep costs down, I mounted the display for the battery monitor, mounted the main switch that turns the whole shebang down if I need to, also installed the throttle and key switch, which was very easy, just mounting and plugging some wires together. Yeah. I need to, before we get back in the water, I need to seal that hole. Well, I did a lot more to the boat while it was out of the water, including glass bead blasting the bottom and dealing with a Catalina smile on my fin keel. Details on that whole fun on this video right here. And that's basically how that clankety grease monster became this work of art. So I just turn it on. It's on, huh?
Ready to go. Yeah. Just
very slowly. Oh, yeah. Now I need to worry about all the wow. Wow. Oh my God, it works.
yes, it does.
I mean, I didn't doubt you guys, but it is, wow. And this is like nothing. How much am I?
So we're using 500 watts.
500 watts. I'd say we're going 3 to 4 miles an hour.
That's
20 hours at this
20
speed.
hours of doing this.
Yeah. That is going to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
In no wind. Of course, if we're going into wind, it'd be using more. Or waves or whatever.
Current, yep.
This is really good efficiency, but you know, 500 watts. On my boat, I'd probably be using a kilowatt at this speed.
So we're doing three and a half knots.
Try to see a little faster.
Yeah, let's see what we got. The thing is, once it gets to whole speed, you can't beat it.
So it's like diminishing returns. The closer you get to hull speed, no matter how much power you give it, you just don't go as fast.
Right.
But we're still only at 2.6 kilowatts. 4.6?
5.53.
Yeah, no higher. Get up closer to that.
What are you burning?
1.7, 1.8.
1.8, okay. 2 kilowatts, you have 5 hours like this. Alright, should we see what hull speed is? What are you doing now?
5.4 looks 5.5.
5.5? I bet we're close to hull speed because the wake's getting pretty big. You said 2.8 kilowatts, Matt?
2.7.
Maybe let's, if you want to bring it up to 3.5, 3. And this is just a test run.
So we're only at 3.2 kilowatts. We're doing like 5.7, right?
6 knots.
Oh, 6.
6.
So a little vibration. Put it on the even side. But this is somewhere you're really not going to be off. There's really no need to. We're really not. We gained what? 0.2 knots for twice the power.
I mean, just hit 6.6.
Yeah, it's hard with this. You got to really like average it out.
True.
I'm showing a steady 6.2.
Yeah, so you could probably do 6.2 if you brought it down a little bit more. Because I think we're just going to use extra power.
So just for kicks. So it just navigated 8.7.
Oh my God, look at that. We're making rainbows.
Yeah.
We're leaving a way.
We gained maybe 0.1 of a
good. You'll have all that extra power when the waves are coming at you and stuff like that.
So what's good to do is take a bunch of measurements now when you know the bottom's clean, the top's clean. So that's your baseline. So if one day you're out and you're putting in 3 kilowatts, you're like, I normally go 5.5 knots, I'm only going 2.5 knots, then you can be like, all right, what's going on? It's probably most likely your bottom's dirty, the problem's dirty. But you should definitely try to get a baseline. And you have to do that pretty soon because it doesn't take long for your bottom to get that.
So the temperature thing, I remember that was something to keep in mind. Where would I see that? Is that a
Oh, okay. So
screen?
yeah. So it would say on this screen if it's really a problem, but I think it's here. I don't think you're ever going to run into that.
So it's been in the water for 5 days or something. It should be pretty clean. When you're on the water and you smell diesel, you're like, what's going on? Is there a mistake?
Like, sorry, dude, your boat's mad.
You smells like shit. Go up full speed just to see the RPMs of paint.
And what kind of maintenance are we talking about? Is there any maintenance? Anything that I should just keeping an eye on my battery?
Check if the wires are loose once a year.
So I think, like, put your hand on it. So if you touch a connection, it shouldn't be hot. If it's hot or warm, I mean warm. Like if you touch a connection on the controller, yeah, it would be warm. But if things get hot, then you're like, something's bugging out.
The fans, whatever, the blower, right? I'm still gonna connect that.
Yeah.
But now the weather's also.
Yeah, that's cool. I honestly don't think you're going to need it. But
yeah,
it won't hurt.
Ambient temperature makes a huge difference.
Okay.
Like if it's
yeah, it was pretty hot that day that I went to test your
Yeah, exhausting the heat away from the motor is the best idea.
like you might use it for 6 months and it's cool out and oh my god, it'll never overheat, and all of a sudden it's
90 degrees.
90 degrees
in
and
the Bahamas.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Either 57 or 67 when it hit the overtime. You're at half that. And again, overtime's not a huge problem. It will derate the motor, so it'll slow you down to let itself cool. If it gets hotter than that, it will derate it more. But realistically, if you see that, you should derate it yourself.
It does
Slow
it
it down.
automatically, and if it's doing, it's gonna tell me that.
Yeah. Now we're at 2 kilowatts.
2 kilowatts. Wow.
Yeah, 2 kilowatts. Let's see. We're going 5. I think we could bring it down a bit and still go this speed. Is that 3 kilowatts? Yeah, 1.8. We're doing 4.3. Okay. So let's say 2 kilowatts is 5 knots. Let's just see what 1 kilowatt is. Because 1 kilowatt makes it easy. 1 divided 10 divided by 1 is 10 hours.
10 hours.
Yeah. 5 hours.
I'm sure this is correct. Just for picture, go to the amps, see what it says the amps are on there.
It is 18 amps.
Okay,
18.7. 19.
Yeah. 970 watts or so.
Yep. I show 800. Yeah. 1 kilowatt. I have it at 1 kilowatt. Let's see what it flashes for speed. 1 kilowatt at 4 knots would be pretty good.
So you'll find if you don't like need the range, but you want to get somewhere, and you have your sails out, you'll probably have like 500 watts, like all the time going to that, just because there's really no reason not to. But even anything, even 100 watts, will make a difference.
So it does say like 12% battery here. I don't think, we don't know yet. It's got to be charged up fully and then set.
set it
Yeah.
all up.
And there's definitely a range anxiety part to it that's in your head. So even in my car, like, you know, if I charge it to like 90% and I'm like coming here or something, I'll be like, look, I'm at 80%. Like, I've only been on the highway for 10 minutes. How am I at 80%? But then I get here and I'm at 55%. So it's still, not that I'm worried, but it's like,
Kind of natural.
it's like the first drop. You're like, if I lost this much so fast, it seems like it's gonna go so quick, but it doesn't. It happens in my boat, it happens in the car.
So Matt, how long have you been doing this?
I think 2017. So
That's really cool. That's when I got this boat.
we actually spoke years ago.
I know, that is so wild. And then, yeah, Mark came around the marina here and gave a card, and you guys are working together.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
there's not many of us out there, so you really didn't have much of a choice. You're either going to find me or him. So
You mainly just converting boats, not.
mostly boats, but
Okay.
pretty much anything to electric.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool part is it's all the same stuff. It's all the same components. People are usually concerned with range,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much the only trade-off with electric.
Mm-hmm.
Electric is going to be better in every way. Obviously, you know, enjoyment, you know, while using it is a big one.
Right.
But power-wise, torque-wise, could easily be way more powerful than a diesel. And so the torque gives you the instant response.
Right.
And you don't have to wait for like the motor to like spin up.
Yeah, that's insane. Like when
And
I
go-
never see my boat do that. Like it's just,
You don't have to worry about it stalling, which a lot of boats, even if you're going full throttle and you come back to neutral,
right.
sometimes the motor just stalls.
Oh.
You can go from forward to reverse.
And that is where the battery of the GoPro died. Not to be confused with the battery bank on this boat, which so far, knock on wood, I've never run out of battery. I have a way of tracking precisely, as I've shared on this video, how much juice I have left. So, and if I can just leave you with one thing about my experience so far, almost 2,000 miles on this now, you know, a fully electric sailboat, is that, and what I tell everybody, I don't think I would have made it this far from New York all the way to Bahamas if it wasn't for having an electric inboard. I did learn some about diesel as I was taking the engine apart to evict it off of this boat, but I'm still not a diesel mechanic, and I really don't wish to be. It's not like they shy away from knowledge. Maybe one day I'll get even better at it, but I don't know, just have so many other things that I want to do with my life, and going sailing and making this passage was one of them. And hundreds of times you just click and it's there for you. So it's simplicity, reliability, predictiveness. It's all, it really made the world of a difference for me to get here. And I want to thank all of my new subscribers so much for your interest in the channel. Yeah, thanks for watching, and thank you for your patience too. I know it's been a couple of years and almost 2,000 miles ago when I said that I would post a video and talk about the installation, but I think my mind was just procrastinating because I wanted to cover everything about it, and I just couldn't figure out how. And to that I would say, please, if there's anything that you are curious about, that I may have just touched on briefly, and you'd like me to elaborate on a little more what it is to live aboard and cruise on this fully electric sailboat, please let me know here in the comments. I'll try to either incorporate it in a future video or just type it out and answer here for you. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and until next time.